Hello, friends. I'm Lamar Oliver, and it is my privilege to serve as the General Conference Petitions Secretary for the Global Methodist Church. Welcome to the petition submission process being used for our 2026 General Conference. While we have provided detailed instructions in PDF form on the petitions homepage, as well as a flowchart overviewing the petition submission process, we are providing this detailed walkthrough for those who might benefit from seeing the petition submission process completed from start to finish. This video is tailored specifically for those submitting a petition on behalf of an annual conference. If this submission is on behalf of an individual or an official church body other than the plenary session of an annual conference, on the petitions page of the General Conference website, there are links to videos similar to this one that address those specific situations. As we head to the petition submission form, there is one key thing to keep in mind. There is no way for a user to save their progress once this form is started. As such, please ensure you have all necessary information for your petition ready before beginning this process. A checklist is provided that as part of the PDF resources on the petitions page. We cannot recommend highly enough completing this checklist before starting your submission journey. Before getting to any data entry, petitioners will find links to 4 essential documents in the background information and documents section. The Plan of Organization and Covenant for Our Life Together, the Petition Process Overview, the Book of Doctrines and Discipline, and the Judicial Practice and Procedures. Users must affirm that they have downloaded and read the Plan of Organization and Covenant and the Petitions Process Overview to proceed with this petition submission process. To help minimize confusion, please note 3 significant reminders. 1. Categories of petitions. 2. The GMC membership requirements. And 3. The clarification that petitions must be submitted through this portal. No matter if one is submitting a petition as an individual, on behalf of a group, or from an annual conference, the petitioner is required to provide the following information: first and last names, email address, and phone number, which we see at the top of the next page. Now note, for the sake of time, I have pre-populated the upper portion of this page. Users are asked to select their country from the drop-down menu and their state, province, or region. Please note, the valid country selection box is checked automatically. It serves as an internal check on the above information. You don't have to do anything with that box. The mailing address follows the standard format used in online data collection. For the sake of time, I have pre-populated that information here. And since the petitioner is submitting on behalf of an annual conference, please ensure that the annual conference button is selected under Submitter Type. After selecting from which annual conference this petition is coming, the petitioner will need to select their role from the appropriate drop-down menu. A quick note, throughout this process, drop-down menus such as this are populated from our denomination's official database, so all conferences are listed here. If for some reason a conference is not listed here, please drop me an email at petitions@globalmethodist.org. Now, once all necessary information about the group has been entered, the petitioner must indicate the date the annual conference approved the petition presented on their behalf. To verify the conference's action, the petitioner must upload either the minutes of the meeting where this action was taken or provide a letter signed by the conference superintendent and secretary affirming that the group did take action to send this petition to the General Conference. The exact wording of the petition must be included in either the minutes or the letter submitted. Upon hitting the Next button after completing this section, the petition page will appear. If this petition concerns the book of Doctrines and Discipline or the Judicial Practice and Procedures, choose a selection from the Paragraph Modification Type menu. For petitions dealing with modifying a current paragraph in either document, select which paragraph the petition addresses and the subparagraph if applicable. Those petitions seeking to add a new paragraph to either document must indicate which section of the document this petition addresses. Should this petition be a resolution for consideration, after selecting resolution, the petitioner will proceed straight to the petition title. A piece of advice on selecting a petition title. Before beginning the petition submission process, please choose the petition title. After choosing the title, select 3 to 4 friends to read the petition, and then consider if the title works. A strong, effective title goes a long way in helping delegates and the greater GMC community. One change for 2026 is that the rationale capacity has been increased by 50%. Petitioners have a maximum of 750 characters to lay out the rationale for their petition. Regarding the rationale, please note that any rationale listed in the petition text will be removed. There's more to come about that when we get to the next section of this form. The 750 character limit is absolute. Petitioners are encouraged to take time to craft their rationale to make the best use of the rationale section. Strip away all unnecessary embellishments and get to the heart of the why. Moving forward to the petition text, pay close attention to the instructions listed here. There are specific directions to guide the process. These directions are critical because all petitions must be submitted using this online entry form. There are no file upload options. We're going to look at how to enter petitions both as modification to an existing paragraph and by submitting a petition that adds a new paragraph. Let's start with a petition modifying a current paragraph in the Book of Doctrines and Discipline. For the purposes of this training, I will be using a petition that I will be submitting that modifies an existing paragraph, 706.1. After selecting the proper petition and paragraph modification type, I then select the proper BDD paragraph and subparagraph. With respect to the rationale, rather than dealing with the whereases, etc., that many associate with petitions and resolutions, I chose to write my rationale in 2 sentences, one that identifies the current situation and a specific solution. The second sentence explains the intended outcome of the petition in question and the why behind this recommended change. Also displayed is the character count. I'm at a little over 450 characters, well short of the 750 maximum. Having your text ready to paste in from another application will be extremely helpful here. With the rationale completed, let's get to the body of the petition. As I did with the rationale for this petition, I have prepared my modifications in another app so that I can copy and paste. For those using the text box to draft their petition, here's a more detailed walkthrough. Since this is a paragraph modification petition, I start by opening the PDF of the current Book of Doctrines and Discipline, linked in the section above the petition text entry box. I'll select, copy, and paste the subparagraph I want to modify into the text box. Note, I am not going to get into the technicalities of copy and paste, as everyone's system may be set up differently from mine. In this case, I see the text did not paste by paragraph, but by line. I'll clean that up real easily right here. Since I am seeking to delete this part of the paragraph, I will highlight the portion of the paragraph I want to delete, and then I'll go to the Format menu and select Strike Through. A helpful hint to consider is that once you are done with the Strike Through command, go back to the Format menu and deselect the Strike Through command so it does not affect any text you add later. Before starting the petition submission process, I had ready in another app the text of my petition, so I could just copy and paste that text into the entry box here. The petitioner must underline any proposed new text, so I need to go in and underscore the text that I just added. Like the strike through, this is done via the Format menu. Also, suppose a petition is to delete an entire paragraph of the Book of Doctrines and Discipline. In that case, you can simply copy and paste the paragraph into the text box and then strike through the whole thing using the Format menu. Now, before we go to the next page, let's also take a look at this page through the lens of submitting a petition to add a new paragraph to the Book of Discipline. A clarification. If someone wants to add a new subparagraph to an existing paragraph, they would choose the Change Existing Paragraph Modify type, not the Add New Paragraph Modification type. Now, for the sake of this example, let's say I want to add a new paragraph between the current paragraph 706 and 707. After I select Add New under the Paragraph Modification Type menu, I am presented with a list of the sections of the Book of Doctrines and Discipline. Since the paragraph I want to add falls into 700s, I would select Section 7, Conferences. And since I don't have anything to add to the Book of Doctrines and Discipline, I am going to have a little fun here. Recalling the advice I gave earlier about titling a petition, I'm going to go with something very straightforward here. Adding a paragraph just to add a paragraph. Disclaimer, don't get any ideas, friends. This is merely for illustrative purposes only. Also, following earlier advice, I provided my rationale in 2 sentences. One states the current situation. The second presents the solution this petition offers and the why behind it. I'll just paste the body of the petition into the text entry box, and then I'm ready to go on in the process. Finally, let's take a look at submitting a petition that does not address anything in the Book of Doctrines and Discipline or Judicial Practice and Procedures. A resolution. Resolutions are non-disciplinary items considered by the General Conference. Details concerning resolutions can be found in paragraphs 208.13 and 703.1 in the Book of Doctrines and Discipline. All resolutions not part of our social witness or church law shall remain in effect only until the next General Conference convenes, when they may or may not be revised or reapproved. The title of this petition is An Appeal to Christian Perfection and Social Media Practices. As with other petition types, the rationale for a resolution is limited to 750 characters. One tip I would offer here is to be mindful that, by definition under church law, resolutions are not permanent, but are valid only until the convening of the next General Conference. Similarly, I prepared the text of my resolution earlier and will paste it into the petition text box. Since this is a resolution, there is no need to format the text with strike-throughs or underlines. Remember, resolutions are good only until the next General Conference convenes, so there are currently no existing resolutions to be modified by addition or subtraction. Regardless of the type of petition, once the text of the petition has been entered, before you hit the next button, I want to encourage you strongly, I want to strongly advise you to take a moment and review everything on this page. Everything. And that'll become obvious at the top of this next page. Are you ready to move on? Hit the next button. Remember when I strongly advised reading through it all before hitting next? Well, before the submit button is pressed, the petitioner is required to verify that they have reviewed the previous pages, and they must certify that the information is accurate. This step is essential because we are not responsible for any errors made in the submission process. And once the petitioner has completed this required step, all that remains is for the petitioner to sign the petition electronically. Mouse, keypad, touchscreen, however you want to do it, and to enter the submission date. The next page will confirm that the submission has been received. Notice also there is a link to download a PDF of the entire submission. We strongly urge users to download that PDF. The petitioner will also receive a copy of it via email confirming the submission. That's it, friends. Thanks for taking the time to work your way through this tutorial. Should any questions arise about any aspect of the petition process, feel free to drop me an email at petitions@globalmethodist.org. Take care, my friends. May God be with you now and always, and may you be with God now and always.